Hello friends, today I am taking a Java programming concepts with OOPS in related to Java coding. Object oriented programming concepts in Java, because Java is object oriented programming language and Java is called the pure object oriented, pure OOPS. What actual it's mean? A pure object oriented programming concept. That means That means because Java is object oriented, so the concept of class comes first, and a class contains two things: data and method. Data and method. So class encapsulate the data and method and hidden from outside world, so may get secure. So according to pure object oriented language, the definition of program is within the definition of class or within the class. There is no existence of code outside the class according to pure object oriented language. And Java is a real world programming. Java is a real world programming, so the concepts are related to the real words. So class and object. First of all, a class is a blueprint. Class is a blueprint of program. Any program which is considered as input, process and output. So in Java, the data which we have input and the manipulation methods for process and output is within the definition of class. Data like integer A 10, integer B 20, and a method supposed to be a integer sum and void display. So the data and the method resides within the definition of class, defines the concept of pure object oriented language. So class is just work as a container. Class is just work as container. It is a logical concept. understand that class is a one blueprint and it is a one logical concept. It just works as container which contains the data which is required as input in the program and a method used to manipulate this data like the process or and the output. The second concept of OOPS is a object. Object is a physical existing thing. Physical existing thing, or you can say an entity by which data is physically stored in memory. Data is physically stored in memory. That means if we define a one object, supposed to be a object 1, its data supposed to be a name, roll number and marks. This data is physically stored in memory. So object is also called as a instance variable. Is also called as a instance variable. Object is also called as an instance variable. Now the next concept is attribute. According to coding, the property values of object is attribute or a characteristic or you can say a property. So these are the attributes by which we have to identify the object by the another object, and these attributes are also called a property or characteristics, which is the value which is physically stored in memory and occupy memory. Next is a data abstraction. According to data abstraction, suppose to we have a detailed information about the student. The information we have is a detailed information, and for any application, suppose to a sports card generation of a student. So the required information according to this example Here a name, roll number, marks, height, weight, age, and so on. And the required information is name, roll number, age, height, weight, etc. Here no need of marks for this application. So the so in a detailed information we have to eliminate the unnecessary information and only accept the required information which is essential for the application. So unnecessary, the wastage of memory is stopped. Is used by the term data abstraction. The next term is the data encapsulation. In Java, pure roots concepts gives the concept of data encapsulation where the data and method both will be resides in a class definition and hidden from outside world and may get secure. So the data and method is encapsulated within a class. And may get secure. This is like the capsule which we have taken as a medicine. The medicine is encapsulated within a cover, so hidden from outside world and get may secure. Like this, in a class, the data and method is encapsulated or are covered within a class definition and hidden from outside world and get secure. The next term is inheritance. Inheritance is based on the concept of relationship between more than one classes. More than one classes. If there are two classes which have no relationship, can't be access their properties, whereas if the classes have their relationship of parent-child, have access their properties by one another object of that classes. So inheritance are of type. A first type is a single level inheritance, where is a base class or a parent class which is inherited in a subclass. Supposed to be a example, there is a property x in base class and a property in y in subclass is inherited in subclass. So the keyword used is extends. According to Java coding of this OOPS concept, the syntax will be a class base extends class base extends sub and the coding of the class. So these two classes show the relationship of parent and child relationship. Now we have to create the object of subclass because this object accesses its property of subclass as well as the property of base class. If we only create a base class object, then it only accesses its property of base class and is never access the property of subclass. Now the second type of inheritance is a multi-level, where levels are not decided. Class base, the property is X. Class sub 1, property is Y. And the class sub 2. Now according to inheritance, the property of class base X is inherited in class Y, in class sub 1, and the property of class sub 1 Y is inherited in class sub 2, that is Z. So here the property will indirectly exist as X, Y and Z. Now the object of our sub 2 class will be created, which access all the properties of itself and the properties of parent also. The syntax will be class base extends sub 1. Extends is a keyword which represents the inheritance. Class base extends sub 1. Now the class sub 2 extends sub 1. So this is the basic syntax of inheritance of multi-level in Java. Some another type of inheritance supported by Java is hybrid inheritance, because Java doesn't support the concept of multiple inheritance. In multiple inheritance, there are more than one base class of a subclass, like this: base 1, base 2 and so on. It's not supported by Java, like the syntax class sub 1 extends base 1 comma base 2 is not supported by Java. So in place of multiple inheritance, Java supports the concept of interface. Suppose the concept of interface. By the help of interface, the hybrid inheritance is possible. So the another type of inheritance, which is hybrid inheritance, gives this type of example. Here a base 1, sub 1, interface 1. In place of class here we use the interface and a sub 2. So when a class to class inheritance supports the extends keyword, whereas interface to class inheritance supports the implements keyword. Implements keyword, because interface 1 is the one interface. What will be the syntax? Class base 1 extends sub 1 subclass sub2 extends base 1 implements interface 1. This will be the syntax of hybrid inheritance. There are no more than one extends keyword used in a subclass syntax. Java doesn't support the concept of more than one extends. Now the two topics note. Two topics which also not supported by Java is operator overloading and concept of pointer. Because in Java there is automatic pointer works inside. So explicit there is no concept of pointer. Not supported by Java. The next concept is polymorphism. Polymorphism. Poly means many and morphism means form. A one object shows us more than one behavior or a state. Poly means many and morphism means form. A one object shows it's more than one behavior or state. One object shows it's more than one behavior or state. For example, a pen, if we give our draw method to it, it draws a different shapes like a line, like a text, it writes, a rectangle or a circle. So object is one and shows it's more than one behavior. It's called a polymorphism. There are two types of polymorphism. Two types of polymorphism. One is compile time polymorphism and second one is a runtime polymorphism. According to the program stages, there are two stages of any program. First is the compilation and second one is the execution. So the code concerned with compiler is called a compile time polymorphism. Compiler concern. And the code concerned with a runtime is runtime or execution time is called a runtime polymorphism. It is also known as a early binding and runtime polymorphism is called a late binding. It's called a late binding. So according to Java coding, the example of compile time polymorphism is function overloading, function overloading, and second one is operator overloading, which is not supported by Java. Not supported by Java. So the function overloading means there are two methods of sum, two integer sums and two double sums. So method is a single which is overloaded in memory two times, because two behaviors are shown by the method. One is integer behavior and one is double behavior. So a method is single and overload in memory two times. So this is called the concept of overloading, in which the method occupy a same memory. Second is a runtime polymorphism, where the examples are inheritance. We further discuss this. And second one is a method overridden or method overriding. In method overridden or method overriding, the same signature method is override in memory more than one time. It is based on you can say implements on the concept of inheritance, where any base class method supposed to be a void display is inherited in subclass void display override. Void display method is override from base class to subclass with same signature. What is the meaning of same signature? It means same return type and same parameters. So override in memory more than one time. So this concept is method overriding or method overridden. Thank you guys. Hopefully you enjoy the topic, and if any comments, please convey it. Thanks.